Hey guys!
Alright guys, we're here to do the second video on this Monday doubleheader, and this one is a special video to me. Last year, 2019, we went to Guelph to a death metal festival, and the headliner was Beyond Creation. And let's face the facts.
That was the only reason why we were going.
Yeah, I had seen them. I've seen Beyond Creation several times, but this was your first time seeing them live because it was an all-ages show. So we drove to Guelph, and when we got there, I had it on my GPS where the location was, and the location was inside a strip mall, like a mall. And I was like, this can't be right. Like, how can the show be in a mall?
How could they have a festival inside of a mall?
And then we got inside the mall, and we discovered that the show, the festival, and I'm using the term festival really loosely, was inside a Thai restaurant. A Thai restaurant. So we actually ate food.
Best festival I've ever been to.
I mean, the people in the restaurant. Do you remember every time booze got spilled, the Asian lady would come with a mop and she'd
mop it? Yeah.
So people wouldn't fall down. I guess because of liability issues. I honestly, I've never been to a show like that.
And they had 2 stages.
They had 2 stages set up. They move all the chairs around. They kick all the people that were eating out after lunch so they could set everything up. It was great times. I had a great time. And it was really nice to see Beyond Creation.
I've never had an experience like that. Ever since.
I don't think we'll ever have another one unless we go back. All right, so all of this is to say that we discovered this band at that festival. So the only band that we knew was Beyond Creation. That's the reason why we went. These guys came early on. I think they were the second or the third band of the day. And let's face the facts. From all the bands on that day, with the exception of obviously Beyond Creation, everybody was not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
With one exception, these guys. I thought they were outstanding. A little bit of a mixture of death metal with thrash metal. I thought they were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
After their set, I went and I said to them, like, where are you guys from? You guys are amazing. Like, how come I've never heard of you guys before? So I got to chat with them a little bit. I've seen them 2 more times since. The last time that I saw these guys live was actually my last concert of this year. I went to see Soulfly with Toxic Holocaust, and these guys were opening. So I fell in love with this band on that day. Besides Beyond Creation, they were the best band of the night, of the day, of whatever, of the Thai restaurant.
They really surprised me.
They were so good. So tight and so good.
Because the bands before I was, like, it's not my cup of tea, but when these guys came out, I'm like, holy shit. I've got a good band on my hands.
They surpassed everybody.
Yeah.
Like I said, with the exception of Beyond Creation, these guys were head over heels above everybody else that performed on that night. 100%. There was no other band that stole the show the way these guys did. So, with that said, they have a new video. It's called Sacred Scourge, and we're here to check out their new video, and we're here to introduce them to all of you that have never heard this band before. And I don't think you can walk away after listening to these guys and not being a fan. So I really want to hear everybody's comment in the comment section. Let us know what you guys think of this band from Kitchener, Ontario. Just our neighbors. Our neighbors to the west. All right, you ready for this?
I am.
All right, let's do this. Holy. Oh. All right. What do you think?
That's some hype shit. That is...
I've seen these guys live 3 times, and they never disappoint. Always just such a tight band live, and believe it or not, they sound even heavier live than
they do.
You know, and
listening to this song, I'm going back to the Thai restaurant.
Is that the only time you've seen them?
I think so.
I saw them at the Rock Pile. I can't remember. No, you saw them at the Rock Pile as well.
Yeah.
Because they had a show at the Rock Pile, and I remember there was a band that was doing an album release. I don't know if you remember this. There was a band that was doing an album release, and these guys were opening. They were not the opening band, but they were one of the earlier bands on the bill for that album release. And we went there. We checked them out. Tamara got us in. We checked them out, and then we left. We didn't stay for the actual headliner. We just watched them, and then we came home. Because the only reason we went was to see them play.
I remember.
Remember the guys from the headlining band were pissed off that we just showed up, watched them, and then we bounced. But hey, I'm just keeping it real. I could care less about the other guys. I came just to see these guys. And then I saw them with Soulfly.
These guys are amazing. I mean...
Heavier live.
Way heavier live.
Okay, so now, can you figure out why? Because to me, this track is missing something.
I don't know. It's just, I guess in a live setting.
Well, in the live setting, normally it's going to sound heavier anyways.
It's going to sound heavier.
Yes, but to me, there's something. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, you can go.
All right.
Maybe it'll trigger it.
So I like everything about the track. Let's go. We'll talk about all the things that we like after.
Yeah.
I felt that this track. The parts that are heavier, you could really hear the bass, by the way.
Yeah, the bass.
Holy shit, the bass is really coming
especially
through.
after the stop.
When it goes like...
Yeah.
You could really hear the bass in the mix. You could really hear the bass.
Especially after the stop, and then coming back from that stop, you can really
hear the bass. I like that. We always talk about how I like my bass.
I like to hear my bass.
I like to hear my bass.
I don't like my bass just
hidden.
Yeah.
I like the bass, and not necessarily throughout the whole song, but I like
in
tracks certain parts...
It peeks its head through.
It adds soul, and it adds heaviness to the track. To me, they have one of the best. I mean, these guys, they're all the guys in the band. They're so good at what they do. The guitar players, the bass, the drum, but they have one of the best drummers. They really do. This guy's phenomenal, and I felt that on this track, on the mix, because this song live is going to sound 1,000 times heavier.
And
why? Because of the drums. The drums live. Because I've seen these guys 3 times. They have one of the best drummers in Southern Ontario. This is a fact. They have one of the best drummers. And this is not a knock. I have a lot of friends and local bands here. And some of them are drummers. And it's not a knock. But not a knock to them. But this guy is one of the best drummers.
Real deal.
One of the best in Southern Ontario. And this song, to me, the drums didn't have the kick that they should have. I felt that the drums at times... not that they were flat, but they were soft. They felt soft.
Yeah.
They felt that they dissipated too quickly.
And those parts where you hear the bass, where it goes like...
It needed the drums as well.
It needed the drums. That's what I was thinking.
It needed the drums as well.
It needed the drums. And I know in a live setting, those drums will be there.
Exactly. And that's why I said to you...
And that's why it's going to be heavier.
And that's why it's going to be heavier. And that's what I said to you. So I felt that in some... The bass kind of hides. And that time, because the guitars are heavy at that point, and you could really hear the bass... Even though there's not much from the drums, it still sounds heavy.
Yeah, and then when you hear the drums, you know...
But the rest of the track... but when the rest of the track, because you don't have that bass coming into the forefront, I felt that the drums needed a little bit more presence. They needed to be a little bit heavier. Because the track has a lot of melodic moments.
Yeah, especially
with all the solos. Like, holy shit, it's like a freaking clinic here of how many solos can we add into a track?
Exactly.
So the song is very melodic from that perspective. And this band live really reminds me a little bit of Creator in terms of old school Creator, how heavy it is. Like it's thrash metal, but almost like with some death metal influences. And at the same time, from a guitar playing perspective, at times reminds me of Testament. So those are the two bands when I listen to Invicta.
Creator was a good one.
Creator live...
Especially live,
it reminds me of like old Creator, like early, not necessarily like new Creator.
Even the Creator that we saw with Sabotage.
Oh yeah, but they played old songs.
That's
like,
why.
They remind me more of that old school Creator when they were younger, more raw, more. I don't know, like more ambitious with their sound. Their sound was not as polished, right? Their sound was more natural, more raw.
Yeah.
So they remind me of that, but a little bit of Testament as well, especially from the guitar playing perspective. Now. With all of that said, live they're much heavier, and I think it's because of the drums. This song is magnificent, but the drums to me needed to be a scooch.
It needs that kick.
They needed to be a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker, a little bit more bass. So when you hear the drums, you hear the drums.
Yeah.
Because at times because the song is so melodic at times with all the solos, I felt that in some portions of the song you would hear the drums, but it didn't have that
impact.
Kick. Yeah, it didn't have that impact to the song. It didn't give the necessary like kick in the door feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the song, the way the song is in those portions where you go and you hear the bass, if the song had more of that, you could get away with it. But because the song has so many solos and it has so many melodic parts,
I really wish during that part you could really hear the bass. The drums.
I know, but you in those portions there you can almost get away with it because of how heavy the bass and everything else is. But outside of that, you have so much melody with the solos, with the riffs.
You kind of need something to balance it.
You need something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the vocals are not overly harsh, and which was one of the things I really like. I like the vocal style, like raspiness. Yeah.
Screaming vocals.
It also reminds me a little bit of Creator from that perspective. So I like that, but I felt that you need something, and that something that was missing is a little bit of heaviness on the drums. The drums needed on the mix. The drums need to be a little bit heavier. Why? Because when they play this song live, it's going to be a lot heavier. The drums are going to be a
totally different experience.
You're going to feel the bass from the drums coming through. You're going to feel that heaviness coming through. I've seen them 3 times. I know for a fact. And like I said, they have one of the best drummers in Southern Ontario. So I feel that on this mix, the way the song is mixed, it needed a little bit more drums. The drums needed to be a little bit more present, to have a little bit more of a, not a main role, but to be more noticeable.
Yeah.
And right now they're there, but they don't have that kick. And in my opinion, that takes a little bit away from the overall power that the song has. And I'm 100% sure if they play this track live, it's going to be a completely different song.
Everything's going to be fixed.
But not everybody has a chance to see them live.
That's
you
true.
see what I'm saying? So you have to, you kind of have to think, how does the band sound live? How can we move that sound into the studio? How can we bring that energy, that essence live into the studio? And when you have a drummer like they do, you gotta give him a little bit of
time to shine.
You have to, because he's really good.
And all the different camera angles.
Oh, that's another thing.
For the solos?
Okay, that's another thing. The video is magnificent. Simple, just them playing on a stage. But this is proof that you don't need a huge budget to make a video work.
Yeah.
I've been so critical of videos. Like the video of the band, they were in their bedroom and the angles were bad. Because like they had an angle on the keyboard player when he was just like doing this.
Yeah.
So I've been very critical of bands that do that. And these guys, I know they're a small band. They don't have a label. They're independent. So it's not like they're swimming in money. They're not. They're not. So the fact that they were able to pull off a video with this quality, and I love that those superimposed images.
Yeah.
So you see them playing, but then you also see the solo, and it's superimposed, a different camera angle. I loved it. I loved it. Once again, if the drums were a little bit heavier, a shot maybe of the feet of the drummer,
that's what
or some shots of him playing from behind.
The only shots of him were just the black and white ones, like to the side.
More for and it was almost to the. It didn't have like zoom ins.
Yeah.
And I think that
I really wish during like double pedaling parts it would kind of show his feet.
I wish they had some shots of his feet, or at least of his hands, some close ups and stuff like that. But that would have worked well if the song also had some heavier drum portions in it. So to me, it's kind of like you don't have one, you're not going to get the other. But overall, the video quality
was really good.
Really good. I really liked it. It kept me engaged. It kept me entertained. Perfect showing when there was a solo, showing you the hands, showing you the solo. Perfect. I loved it.
From the front and from the
even when the bass, when you could hear the bass coming across, you could see the bass being played. Love it. Whoever they hired, I'm sure they didn't pay the guy a fortune, but magnificent job. This proves that what I always say, and then bands get back to me and say, we don't have a lot of money for fancy videos. This proves that you don't have to have a lot of money to make a fancy video. You can still make a quality video. Because, like I always say, there's no such thing as the first impression second time around. For some people, this video is going to be the first time they're going to listen to the band. So you got to make a good impression right off the gates. And I think they did it with this. Once again, I think they need to tweak their drums and put some more meat on the bone, if you will. But overall, I love this track. All right. Anything else?
I think we've
covered everything.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, guys, thank you for watching. Let us know your thoughts on this band, and if you like them, go check them out on Spotify or whatever streaming service. Give them some love. These Canadian boys, they're good. They're good kids. They're good kids from good families. I'm assuming. From good families. They like Timbits and watching hockey and wearing their toques and being all about. So go support these guys. Canada A all the way. And show them some love. Buy some merch. Do something. Like, these guys deserve it. They're an independent band with no label, which, like, if I was working for a label, I would be calling these guys. Honestly, they're super, super talented. All right, on that note, come back tomorrow. We'll have more videos for you. See you guys.
See ya.